Welcome back to Bloomfield, Canada on FS22. When I left you last time, we were a little bit short of buying the field that I had wanted. Over the winter, there were not too many contracts until February. In February, there were actually some sowing contracts for cotton, which paid some pretty good money. And then as soon as March hit, there were too many contracts to count, to be honest, and they were pretty much all sowing contracts. So I did all of those, and you can see we are now pretty well above $200,000. Let me just fix the time. There we go. So I'm ready to buy the field. I have not bought it yet. I just kind of started bringing some of my stuff over. I'm going to start with the soil sampling, but I wanted to make sure you guys saw me buy the field, since it's kind of I think it'll be a good turning point in terms of making some money. So let's buy it. 180. So that used a 35% discount. You can see it was 277 before, so quite a good discount. Oh, it still says 35% discount. I thought it went away. I'm not going to complain though. So yeah, we need to get up to 337 to get this piece of land, and then go from there. But I'm going to do some soil sampling. I don't think I showed you guys this last time, so is that the right thing? Oh, it's not unfolded. There we go. So it has this little circle that shows you the area it's going to be measuring. I'm not sure how many it's going to take. And then once I take all the soil samples, I send them in and spend a little bit of money to get them analyzed. It does look like the field is limed, which is good news. You might not have to worry about that. I don't really have the implement to do that yet anyways, so it's probably just going to leave it go. But if it's already limed, that's just one less thing. A little bit better of an environmental score for us. I want to make sure I hit this corner. Oh, there's a little sliver there. I'll make sure I get it all. So we are just finishing up the last sliver of this field. Just out of curiosity, I'm not sure if you guys know, but you can purchase the soil information instead of collecting it yourself. You can see, I'm not going to click it, but you can see the provider cost is what we're saving on just by doing it ourselves. And when they do it, they did 52 samples. So we're saving at least almost $6,000 just by having our own. And I'm only at 26 samples right now, and I'm definitely not going to get to 52. So we're saving on the amount of samples taken as well. It's just, more convenient to just purchase it outright. But especially here at the beginning of the game, when we're, kind of scrapping for cash, I don't want to just pay that out. And this implement wasn't too expensive. The soy sampler, I think it was, to double check now. Yeah, 17,000. I was thinking 19, but yeah, that's not too bad. After just a few fields, we pretty much make that money back. So, and last sample. I mean, realistically, I did miss a few little spots that I had to pick up and kind of waste a sample with. So we could have gotten even less than 29 if I was a little bit more careful, but let's go ahead and send those. Yes. It'll take a few seconds and then it'll show us how much we lost. Any second now. We're going to get the weeder on here and get some grass in the field. And then probably fertilize after that. There you go, 43.50. Not too bad. A lot less than the 7,000 that they were going to charge. Probably going to have to refill this multiple times because this does not hold that much seed. I'm pretty sure this is plowed. Let's see if it goes. Yep, it's going. Perfect. So yeah, we're getting our seed in the ground. Technically not the first crop, but first crop on a big field. I think with this going now, the next purchase will be, I'm thinking a baler with a wrapper on it, just so I only have to buy one thing, and that way we can start wrapping up our grass and making some money on it. Actually, before I continue with this, I do, because we're not going to get away from contracts yet. Oh, it's fertilizing. I don't want to borrow that equipment, so I'm going to have to work on these after I'm done seeding. But I do want to accept them. Oh look, one is that field. That's convenient. Unfortunately, with it only being March, it'll be kind of a while until we actually make some money off of this field. I think we can get at least 2 cuts in it this year. I do want to wait and cut it at the highest growth, so that'll be 3 months from now. So that'll be in June. And then the next one would be in September. And then it would be December after that, which it doesn't grow in December. So yeah, the third one we'd have to wait till next March. So we should be able to get 2 cuts. I'm weeding the side as I go here, I guess. I do like how this was limed though, because it's actually making it, I like when it's easily visible where you've seeded and not seeded. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see, you know, where you need to go. So yeah, we're gonna keep strolling along. Keep an eye on the contracts if any good contracts come up. Yeah, and get their seed in the ground. Alright, so we're coming into the last few stretches of seeding this grass field. It's worked out kind of nice that the weeder has enough capacity to make it down and back once. So I've just been filling up every time I get to this end, just to make a little bit less driving. If I ran out in the middle of the field, it would be kind of annoying to have to drive all the way back. Still have plenty of seed left too. So I'm going to get this finished. I'm going to go grab the fertilizer spreader, and I'm going to start here with our field, fertilize our field first. And then that next field right next to us is one of the ones for the contract, and then just, you know, continue on with the contracts from there. So as I've been doing this, I was looking in the shop a little bit to try to figure out what implements we should get. And, or specifically which baler we should get. The one I think I've decided on is this Massey Ferguson. And I actually have a mod in there to make kind of fancy colors. It's the same price. I could just change the foil color to a bunch of different colors. I'm not going to do this yet because I don't have the money for it, but I'm probably going to pick like a Massey Ferguson red because I really like red, as you will soon find out with my typical choice in tractors. And of course I got a red tractor already. That was just by happenstance, and in the shop that's what showed up. So yeah, I'm gonna get the Massey Ferguson baler. I do want to get this to pick up the bales. It makes it a lot easier to, you know, kind of store in one spot and sell off eventually. Especially since I feel like this field will be giving us a lot of bales. Alright, looks like maybe not quite two. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do this stretch, fill up one more time just to make sure, and then do, I might have enough, but I don't want to risk it. I might as well just go fill up one more time, and looks like it's gonna have to be 2 more rows. But I think this series so far has been going pretty well. I didn't expect to have this much equipment this quickly in the first year. I think, you know, we probably didn't need to make a field over at that small area that I bought first, given that, you know, once I kind of got going with all the contracts, we had enough money to buy this field. But the equipment that I bought for that, like the small plow, really wasn't that expensive. So if I do end up selling that to get a bigger one, it's really no big deal. We're probably going to make our money off of that field quickly anyways. And obviously I needed a place to put the tent down to stay, so that was kind of necessary. But yeah, I'll be excited when I can finally get that yard over there, and kind of start feeling like we actually have a farm. I like to try to stay off the field as much as possible. I don't like all the tire marks going through the field. Of course, then I'm crashing into things. The good thing is we won't have to reseed this pretty much ever. Depending on, I probably will get a direct seed drill at some point. I'll probably want to plow this back up and reseed it to get the better environmental score. But I'm not necessarily out there to get the complete best environmental score. It just helps, you know, to have a little bit of extra bump in the selling of your products. You get a little bit of extra. The one interesting thing about the weeding is you get the best environmental score by using what they call the see and spot sprayers. So it only sprays where the weeds are. That'll give you 100% on your weeding for your environmental score. But in the base game, if every time you used herbicide, you had, it was either 10 or 15% knock on your overall yield of the field. And I guess even with precision farming with the See and Swat sprayer, you still get that, decrease in your yield, which I think is kind of interesting. So personally, I would rather have a little bit less of an environmental score and use a mechanical weeder. That way I don't get the knock or get the decrease in crop yield, because I think the crop yield is more important than having an extra 1 or 2% in your sell prices. Because I mean, you're looking at 1 or 2% on the environmental score versus 10% crop yield, at least. I think the crop yield is definitely more substantial. So I don't plan on getting a sprayer for that reason. And I've actually already been thinking about the next series I might be starting. And since we're talking about precision farming, environmental scores, and stuff like that, I think it'll be a little bit different from this. It won't be a start from zero, but it'll be focused on a lot of the mods I've seen that are kind of more environmental based. So I think for animals, I'll be doing something like pigs, and then I have a whole bunch of mods like making my own diesel, having a power plant, and kind of utilizing everything to the best of their abilities. In terms of environmental score, I'll probably go the same route as here with the weeding and not use a sprayer, just because the sprayer's not great for the environment, which is why they give you a less yield on your crops. So yeah, those are just some thoughts I have. I haven't 100% determined the map yet, but I'm thinking something really big, starting out with a lot of money and buying as many big implements, big machinery, anything that I need, and just kind of, trying to pay off the debt essentially. So a little bit different from this, to where we're not starting from zero, but I think that'll be nice because I won't have to really do contracts at all. I can just kind of start off buying stuff and going from there. So, all right. That's all done. I have a nice lime-filled tractor now. Lime-filled weeder. I think it's not technically my land, but I'm just going to kind of leave everything in this little area for now. I'm not going to start using, the stuff over there, but yeah, just leave those there for now. Right, we'll go grab the fertilizer spreader. I have to keep an eye on the gas gauge, or fuel gauge, I should say. It's not technically gas. Oh, geez. I think your van's going to have more damage than my tractor, even though I did pull out in front of you. But yeah, I need to keep an eye on the fuel gauge. I'm not used to playing with the fuel usage on high, so it does run out a lot faster than I'm used to. Oh, other side. And I'm not going to bother cleaning this off yet, since I'm going to be driving through a lot of fields. I'm going to have to clean it off at the end anyways. Looks like I'm going to need to... Actually, I'm wondering if I should... Oh, there's some fertilizer over here. I was going to say, I need to pick up some more fertilizer, but this should hopefully help me out. Our field shouldn't use much, since grass doesn't need too much fertilizer. But unfortunately, the contract fields, it doesn't really matter what's there. It just uses kind of like a stock amount of fertilizer for the contracts. Yeah, and even though it was limed beforehand, I'm going to show you real quick. Jump out of my tractor. You can see the pH value isn't great. Well, actually, you said it's bad. Um, but I think for now, I'm going to hold off on that. If we get later in the year and come into some money where I'm not really buying anything and I see a good deal on something to spread some lime, I might buy that. I don't like to mix fertilizer and lime. I like to have a spreader for each. Actually, widen that a bit. If you look at the mini map, you can see kind of how much fertilizer is on. So when I was fertilizing the last field, I must have went over a little bit. So unfortunately, that little strip over there is going to be a little high. But that's okay. After harvesting it a few times, it'll bring it down and get it into the right value. So we might not be at 100 for the nitrogen because of that strip, but I think we'll be pretty close anyways. I also don't have the sensor on the front of this to get quite perfectly to 100. You do get pretty close without using it. A lot of people think that, because of the fact that you can see and see how much fertilizer you're putting on, that it's actually useless. But I've seen some videos that prove that it's not quite useless. It just isn't a huge deal whether you use it or not. It's a lot of the times you have to wait until there's actually what they call green growth on your plants for it to actually sense how much nitrogen's in them. And it kind of tweaks it. I mean, without it, you might get a 98. With it, you get a 100. That's really the only difference there is. So it's not a huge deal not having it on, and it is kind of expensive to put on your tractors. So I think for now I'm going to go without it, and we'll see later on. Hopefully, at some point here in the near future, we can start making some pretty good money and being able to not worry about what we're buying and make up our debt and get to our 1 million money goal. And I think I'm not going to save any of the silage from here. I'm just going to sell it all for now. Since we don't have cows to feed or anything like that, it doesn't really make sense to hold on to it right now. I mean, we have a lot more things we need to get before we can get cows anyways. I need to get something to make TMR in. I need to get a field that can make straw, because we're going to need to give them straw so they can give us manure and things like that. Speaking of manure, I haven't decided whether the BGA's over there. Can't really see it from here, but it's that way. I haven't decided if I'm going to buy that or not. I'm leaning towards yes, but if not, I would still like to use like the slurry and the manure, so I might have to buy, the spreaders and the slurry distributors or distribution, whatever it's called, to put those on the fields. If not, I could use the digestate from the BGA and use that on the fields as well. But I have done that in the past. I'm trying to do some things that I haven't done too much. I think I mentioned I was going to do some corn silage. So I'm going to have to get a bunker to make that. There is a shed over on the land I'm going to purchase that is like a bulk storage area. So I think I'm going to use that to kind of store loose silage and hay. to use for the cows. And then I'll just show you in terms of a TMR mixer. I haven't used one of these before, but I think I was, again, with the red. I like red. I was planning on getting this. It just kind of sucks up loose, material from the front, puts it in the back. And I can also use that for straw too. And then I can just drive that into the cow shed and feed that directly to them. So that's my plan for the cows. Again, I think that's going to be a little bit here in the future. I think kind of a realistic goal, where this is year 2 at this point. I think by year 3 or 4, I want to start with the cows and start, buying some cows. And I think at the point where we buy the cows, that might be towards the end of doing contracts. I think that's kind of the goal that I have in place with contracts. So, because like I said, I don't want to be doing contracts for forever. So yeah, we got perfect nitrogen. Gonna get a nice boost in our farming or precision farming score once this grass grows. Yeah, so let's go on and start doing some of these contracts. I think I'm actually going to leave the episode there. I'm going to do some of these contracts offline, and then maybe bring you back for March 2 if there's some interesting contracts that I want to show. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you like this content, or a comment if you have any comments on what I'm doing, what my plan is, any suggestions on how I can change it, and consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.